So we're going to play this thing, and the order of turns for the queen is sort of like going around the table. Since we don't have a table, shall we just go in the order that we have names currently listed in under because Roll20 shifts these things and Discord doesn't. Let's go in the order of the names as they appear in Discord. So that would be, Mike and then Bill and then me and then Dave. Does that make sense? The way they're
Sure.
listed, is that cool?
Yeah, it's cool now.
Fine. All right. Well, Bill never goes first, so actually, I'm really excited about this because it means that Bill goes first. All right. So what we're gonna do with this is I'm gonna ask. So under the journal tab for the Queen, there's a thing there called instructions, and I'm gonna ask Bill to click on instruction number 1 and read it to everybody.
Instruction 01. Go around the table clockwise, taking turns reading these cards aloud.
All right. I am doing number 2. The land you live in has been at war for as long as any of you have been alive. Now it's Dave.
The Queen has decided to undertake a long and perilous journey to broker an alliance with a distant power.
The Queen has chosen all of you, and no one else, to be her retinue and accompany her on this journey.
Instruction 5 is she chose you because she knows that you love her.
Aww. You are welcome to look through the Queen cards for inspiration. We'll do that in just a little bit. If there is one that seems right for the group, place it on the table to inspire your story. We'll talk more about how that works here in just a second. Please don't touch the decks. They'll break. So, next.
Set the card that reads, the Queen is under attack. Do you defend her? Aside.
All right. That's been taken care of. Don't worry about that. Moving on. I already took care of this one, but carry on.
Yeah, shuffle the red prompt cards and place them face down in the center of the table.
Also taken care of. Bill, you're number 9.
I was actually trying to put the player order on the screen here so I could follow along.
Oh, okay.
Put the Queen is under attack card in the middle of the deck for a game that takes approximately 30 minutes, or shuffle it into the bottom third of the deck to play for an hour. Modified instructions for Roll20 as the GM click choose next to.
Yeah. I've got it, and I think it's probably more accurate to say put the card in the middle of the deck for a game that takes approximately an hour. So that's what I've done because
I've played this once before, and the timing worked out pretty well. But
to go into the middle, yeah. All right, well, we'll see how that goes. That was 09, 10. When you have read the instruction cards, continue clockwise with the red prompt cards. We'll take turns reading the questions out loud, interpret these questions, and answer them however you wish. To make that clearer, whoever draws is the person that this is directed to.
Other players may ask you questions or make suggestions on your turn. But whether you answer those questions or include those suggestions is entirely up to you.
Now,
I'm stepping away for a moment.
All right. Now, to clarify this bit, that means that when somebody pulls a card and answers the question, it is totally legit and, in fact, encouraged to ask follow-up questions like, that's interesting. Tell me more about the dog or whatever. That's really kind of...
It's also perfectly legit to say, no, we're not going to talk more about the dog.
Yeah, and actually we'll talk about that in just a second. But first, who's number 12? Dave?
Place the X card somewhere everyone can easily reach it.
The X card is actually, yep, it's built right onto the screen, which is great. Since Bill is away, I will do 13 here. If you encounter a card or an answer that you don't want to be included in the game, tap the X card. That content is removed from the game. We just need to see a ping, and we'll, Now, there's a couple different reasons that could happen. I don't think we know each other well enough to know awkward content, content we'd prefer not to have in there. But it could also be like if somebody asks a follow-up question, like, "That's really interesting. Are you the only one of us without wings?" And somebody could be like, I don't want any of us to have wings," and just kind of. So it's a bit of an editorial thing, but being used in for the purposes primarily for protection, but also somewhat editorially to kind of keep things in tone, I guess, a little bit. Dave, you're up.
And I've lost track what number.
You're on 14.
If you draw a card that is removed this way, simply draw another card. You can X a card that you drew yourself. James would like to join.
James can certainly join. James should get his butt in here.
James will be here shortly.
You can also pass on your turn. To do so, give the prompt card you drew to the next player and say, "I'd like to hear your answer to this question."
Right. So again, totally free to do that. If people can keep passing around, well, actually, I think I'm getting ahead of myself. Bill, are you back? Bill's not back. I will read 16. A prompt card can be passed around the table until someone applies the X card to it or answers it, I guess, whatever. It's like the dynamite in the card game Bang. Anyway.
I'm not back.
Oh, okay. I was gonna say, do we want to keep reading since James is jumping in?
Or he can read through the deck.
I think he can. He can
Yes,
read through the instructions as he goes, and also we'll put him at the bottom of the order for stuff, and that should kind of demonstrate things. Continue answering, passing, Xing the questions until the queen is under attack card is drawn. Dave? 18.
18. Each player should answer that question in turn. Then the game is over.
Whoever wants to can draw the first prompt card.
Okay. So I'm gonna close all those things up now because they're all up on my screen. So while James is getting on here, I'm going to, very carefully, I will ask you to mouse over the blue deck that we see in the, on the right-hand side of the screen and click the choose link that comes up from the pop-up, okay? Now
I don't see a choose. I see a queen cards draw. Is it draw?
It's probably, okay.
I see the same thing.
Okay, that must be a GM level thing here. Okay. In that case, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to
make us all GMs.
No, it's tedious. I'm putting a couple. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a couple of these guys out here. And if you ping any that you find particularly, we'll just go through and kind of ping any that you find particularly compelling. If you see any that are particularly compelling, like, ooh, I would. So what we're doing is we're selecting what our queen, like a visual inspiration for our queen. And if not,
I like Crazy Angela Lansbury.
That's a good description.
This one right here.
We all knew which card it was.
Yeah. Okay. So we'll leave Crazy. She makes the first. Survives the first pass. Put them over here. I shouldn't have.
Hello.
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 So we'll get to James in the journal tab. I'm going to encourage you to look at the instructions. There's instructions 1 through 19. Click on them and read them, and that should give you a general idea of what's going on here. And
okay.
You'll be last in the turn, so you'll kind of see that. Do we see anybody else in here that wants to that we think should be competing with Crazy Angela Lansbury?
I like the Dark Queen there.
All right, I'll get to leave the Dark Queen. See who else we got here. Throw a couple more up here. Are we liking this troubled youth over here? I'm seeing some pings on there. Is that intentional?
Yes.
Okay. Sometimes the ping is actually, no, I was just trying to move her. Okay. Let's see, we got this one. Angry Kali. Got the Lizard Queen here. Whoops. Open that one up too big. All right. See if any of those three pass muster. Okay. Oh.
I can't tell if I'm pinging or not.
I feel that at least half of them need to look like they would eat your eyes if you did something wrong.
Yeah.
And
there's at
half
least
of them do.
there's at least a few. I think that's most of them. I think we've seen most of them. Certainly we've gotten our fair selection. So, well, that gives us quite a spread. Anybody out there really leap out of this? I'm with Dave. I like the Dark Queen, but sort of the bookish palanquin riding young lady is fun too. I like them all.
And honestly, just the description, the crazy Angela Lansbury Queen,
Okay.
has a certain appeal.
Thoughts? Anybody? Anyone? Anyone else? I'm fine with whoever. Crazy Angela Lansbury is certainly thick with opportunity. We still have a.
From my experience, about 2/3 of the time, the queen is going to turn evil and you're going to kill her. So
Crazy Angela Lansbury.
you almost don't want to create a sympathetic queen, but it depends on how it plays out.
What's funny is I've watched an actual play of this, and when somebody said, like, not only am I not defending the queen at the end, but I'm actually the one stabbing her, the author of the game turned around and said, in 45 games, I have never seen that happen. And I was shocked because it seemed to me like, I don't know that it's default state, but it certainly seemed likely. Nobody's pinged this person, so we'll get them out of the way. And now it was down to 3. I'm gonna spread that out.
Am I actually pinging?
I don't know.
So
Are you?
I think your options are serious, and comedy. So
I think at this late stage, somebody's pinging the X. Can you not?
That's Kaylee.
Oh, Kaylee can't. You can't ping if you're not talking.
Because the pings are always the color by your name.
Sure.
So
any particular, or should we? I mean, we can do just a fiat here and say Crazy Angela Lansbury has been mentioned more than anybody else, so we go with Crazy Angela Lansbury.
I'm okay with Crazy Angela Lansbury.
All right.
sounds good.
We'll take the queen. We're gonna put the queen right here in the middle. This is our queen. James, how are those instructions going for you?
I read them through. Not sure if I understand all of them, but
So what we will do? Okay, let me get a little.
it looks like you draw prompts and you ask or answer questions.
You've
and eventually the queen is under attack.
You've quite
That's
adequately
exactly right.
You've quite adequately summarized things.
Okay.
So we'll go here. Just one second.
That college education is coming in handy.
Yep.
I'm going to do this in a slightly different order. Dave, Mike, James, and do that, and make them white, and make it bigger. And now we have nominally an order of events here. So manipulating the deck. If you mouse over the red deck, which is our prompt deck, you'll notice that there's a card kind of in the back that pops up, and you can should be.
I get a draw.
You get a, but it doesn't move at all for you.
It moves for me.
I mean, like one pops up.
That's what I'm talking about. The one that pops up. If you click and drag on that and drag it out into the desktop, it doesn't go into your hand. It just goes out to the desktop. So that little card that kind of slides up in the back. So I can go first since I'm familiar with the card thing, or Bill can go first because Bill should be going first.
Okay, so you said drag the deal.
Yeah, move the mouse and then just pull the card straight out onto the. There you go. And there's your question, Bill. What are we doing? What's the question?
The question is, what do you usually do for the royal family, and why does that make you an unlikely choice for this journey? I am going to say that I am the stable boy, and normally you would not bring a stable boy along on the journey.
Since we're the only ones that are on the the retinue, so there's not some more senior person. Are we riding?
You get to answer that.
Well, I can ask you questions unless you're saying I prefer to hear.
I'm just claiming this. I'm like, I don't know yet.
So. Okay, all right. If you're just claiming this, then I'm going to say the weirdest thing about the fact that you're the stable boy is we're not actually riding horses. We're in.
The sea.
We're in.
Traveling on a boat.
We're on ships. We're on ether ships. We're on a long journey, right? We're on the Queen is going to some place to broker peace. We're in ether ships between the worlds, and somebody brought the castle's stable boy from back home. The Queen decided to bring, Crazy Angela Lansbury decided to bring the stable boy. There's no horses. But he came. It's completely out of it.
I feel like we filled it enough, so yeah.
Yes. All right. We're on. Okay. Click and drag. I don't see how this works for me. All right. Oh, good. The Queen. Why isn't it not moving for me? Oh, hang on. I'm in box drawing mode. Sorry. The Queen has punished you once. What about the memory of that will stay with you forever? She punished me once. So it was this is proper. I'm picturing like that British Navy flogging, era kind of discipline, like the public flogging on the crossed guards kind of thing. I am
bound to the cannon. Yeah.
Yeah, bound to the cannon and flogged kind of thing. And what about the memory of that will stay with me forever? She had my second in command perform the flogging. I'm the captain of the guard, and she had like an uppity lieutenant that was like under me, like performed the flogging since nobody else would step up to do it or something like that. And that is what it's not just that was called out for it, but that she had a lesser person, a lower ranked person, do the deed. Bloop! Somebody blooped. And Dave's already providing links. Who's next up is?
Would be me. I'm sorry. So I'm drawing one from the blue deck.
No, the red deck. You move your mouse over the red deck, and this like the mouse, the card that picks up, you drag it over to the desktop.
Draw one card.
Yeah, if you draw one card, it goes into your hand, and you can click on it.
That's not what I wanted to do.
Yeah, that's fine. But you can click on that, and it'll show you your hand, and you can drag it out to the desktop for us.
Okay.
It gets us there one way or the other.
What do I do for the Queen that anyone else can do, and why does she make me do it? What do I do for the Queen that anyone else can do, and why does she make me do it? has me, for whatever reason, has me taste her food.
You're the okay. So what do you do? What do you do normally? Like, what is your prescribed function?
I'm the court librarian. Why did she make me do it? Because I'm the one who mentioned once that a number of her predecessors had been actually killed through food poisoning or through poisoning of food. And for that bit of information, she decided that I should also then taste her. Anybody could do it for her, but she chose me.
Court librarian and food taster. Well, she's living up to her appearance, certainly. Anybody else have any other questions? Follow-up? Queries for Dave? If not, it is Mike. Oh, I like the little triangle you guys are moving. That's lovely.
All right, let's see. Pull the card and. Why are some others at the royal court jealous of your relationship with the queen? Huh, that's a loaded question there.
Yes, it is.
Ooh. So, given everything else, I'm going to say she has never, what's the best way to put this? She's known for her eccentric, punishments for perceived slights. Never saw me as slighting her.
So you've never suffered
Yes.
like the petty punishments?
Mm-hmm.
Is that because she favors you? Like, okay, everyone perceives it as a favor. Do you think it's because she favors you particularly, or because you're just like sort of beneath? It doesn't occur to her because you're kind of beneath notice on as far as that goes. Like, you're not important enough to punish. Or are you
Yes,
truly like a golden child?
We're gonna go with I'm beneath notice. And I don't know what that would make me then.
Lower than the stable boy, I guess.
Brave punishments for the stable boy. Oh, she loves the stable boy. Why is she bringing me to Mars? Well, I guess think about what that's going to be then, because that's fascinating. Because we don't. All right, James. Now it's you.
So
you
red
move
card.
you move your mouse over the red card. The little thing pops up. Drag that little guy, and there you go. Bob's your uncle.
Who is the distant power you are traveling to, and why do they make you uneasy? We are traveling to visit one of the northern kingdoms, and is uneasy because they have a reputation for being savage heretics.
So we've been
Unless you guys already detailed something like that
well, no, we can still work it in.
before I got on.
Okay, so how much did we actually say? We said that we're traveling by ether ship because Dave is a stable boy and is pointless. But the ether ships could be in the air.
Bill is the stable boy.
I'm sorry, Bill is the stable boy. So Bill is the stable boy who's been brought along like completely pointlessly because we're not actually even using horses. We're in like ether ships, but that doesn't mean that we're out in like 1880s, you know, was it Mars 1880? Something like that.
You can do it Lady Blackbird style, basically.
Right. So Northern, you say, oh, and this is, you know, she's brokering a peace. The war's been going on as long as any of us have been alive. They're heretics. What's the religion that they're heretical? Like
The not right religion,
the not.
obviously.
But what is their heresy? What?
Their heresy is there is a religious schism a few centuries back, and they ended up converting to the wrong half of the schism.
And it doesn't make any difference what it actually is doctrinally. It's just wrong.
Exactly.
Does it have anything? Does it have anything to do with the royalty, with the queen? Is the religion
Or with horses.
or
Anything to do with family values and temple prostitution?
what?
Does it have to
Gets
do
it.
with? Does it have to do with whether the Son proceeds from both the Father and the Holy Spirit, or is part of the Father and the Holy Spirit?
Damn, Dad, you caught me.
It's not like you aren't studying this right this semester.
You know, I'm drawing inspiration from the
From the world around you.
drama fest that is late antiquities.
Wow. Okay, so the heresy, it's one of those, like practically our religion except for one, you know, otherwise useless fact, or is it?
Yeah.
Okay.
They cross themselves left to right instead of right to left.
Well, and my question is, and this may not be like you can just pass this, but my question is the religion in some way pointed at the queen, at the royalty of the kingdom? Is that part of it?
Not really, but royalty has always made a show of endorsing the right religion as a means to strengthen their base and connection to the poor people.
Not him.
Hey, shut it.
Well, I mean, as soon as the church says they don't like the royals, and they start telling all the poor people that the gods aren't with them anymore, because that makes it okay to rebel against them, then you got real problems.
Exactly.
Okay. Bill, you're up.
Dad.
You're considered beautiful by almost everyone you meet. How does the queen make you question that perception?
Ooh.
By making you the stable boy.
I was a duke, and then she made me a stable boy. It makes no sense.
Well,
Bill's pondering.
no, I know the answer. I'm just trying to figure out how to phrase it. She's a beautiful queen, and she's the wife of a beautiful king. But she's also my mother, and my father was terrifically ugly. And she told me that.
Ah. You're the son of the queen and you're the stable boy?
Illegitimate.
Ah. Okay. I love it.
But I inherited her looks, and so that's...
Do you know that your father was ugly, or is that just what you've been told?
That's what she has told me.
Of course it is.
I had this annoying like artifact on my screen that won't go away that says click to draw, drag, or deal, and I can't get rid of it. Super annoying. All right, doesn't matter. Any follow-up questions for Bill? Other than the one that Dave just gave.
Ooh. Does anybody else know that you're the bastard?
To be determined by further cards.
Okay.
That's fair. All right, that is me then, I think. Speaking of further cards. Drag that over here. Plonk. You sometimes think you might be the queen's favorite. Why and why does this worry you? Oh Lord.
Because she keeps having you flogged.
Ooh.
If you have an ooh, Mike, throw your ooh my way, because I'm
So she deals out her worst punishments to the one she says she likes best.
oh.
You only hurt the ones you love.
The 10-year consort that lasted like a whole decade was literally torn apart with whips. Like beaten until limbs could be pulled away. The day he proposed, she's weeping with joy the entire time. You're my favorite. I like you better than any of my husbands is one of the most terrifying things I've ever heard this woman say.
Crazy Angela Lansbury is living up to her nickname.
I like it. I am 100% behind Crazy Angela Lansbury. This is good stuff. Why does this worry you? Well, I think that's relatively obvious. I mean, if I do anything,
she's been hinting that she's looking for a proposal.
Yeah. If well, the problem is that she tends to pick these, and I survived the beating with some aplomb. Didn't cry out, any of that kind of stuff, and that seemed to go a lot further than I was really expecting with regards to any of that. So, yeah, that's worrisome on so many levels. Okay, I will cede the floor to Dave.
Okay, I draw.
You just drag. You don't even have to draw. You just kind of drag it over.
Too late.
You get it over there.
So I drew one, and now I drag it from there. I was summoned to a private meeting with the Queen once. Why did I feel disappointed afterward?
She made you be her poison tester?
No, we've already gone through that. I was really hoping that because I had submitted several proposals for ways that the Royal Library could be expanded, and actually with the conquest of our neighbors to the south, there are many valuable volumes that I thought could be included in our collection with some very simple, relatively inexpensive expansions to the library structure. And so after I had submitted these proposals, the Queen summoned me to a private meeting. And I was disappointed to discover, actually, yeah, she was peckish, was going after a tin of ice cream in her ice box, but wanted me to have a taste of it first. And I had brought all of these files and some large placards with descriptions of the plans and an easel, and I had dressed up very well, and all I got out of it and it wasn't even mint chip, it was pistachio.
Oh God.
And that is perhaps the ultimate disappointment.
Has she ever actually mentioned the proposal since you submitted it to her? Or did it just disappear down like sort of the mental oubliette that is dealing with the Queen? It didn't come up then. Has it ever come up?
Indirectly, the space that I had proposed expanding the library into, a few days later, plans were laid out and construction began on a large repository for ice from the mountains areas where she could store other frozen confections for whenever she wanted to eat them. So indirectly, I guess that was her response to the proposal.
So she's not just flighty, she's outright just like being mean. with these two.
Well, the ice. She associates ice cream with you. So, what was it that she was at? Is it? Are you a he or a she? Or are they?
I'm a he.
Are he?
I'm a he.
So what was it that he was asking about? It was something. He had space for ice cream, something like that. There was ice cream and space. We're gonna make this into a cooler. I think that's what he was talking about.
An ice house, yes.
Oh my god. Oh my god. All right, Mike.
Oh, yes, it's me. Let's find out. The Queen trusts you, but no one else in the royal court does. Why? I mean, let's see. Dave. Or no, I get to hand this off to the next person if I.
It doesn't have to be the next, but you.
I was gonna say, I was gonna like see if. So for this, I would it then turn to be like, hey Dave, the Queen trusts me, but no one else in the court does. Why?
You can certainly turn things around like that. I think that's fair. Wait, what was your last thing, Mike?
The last thing was that
everyone's jealous of my relationship with the Queen
because you don't get any of the little petty things. Okay, all right.
Because he's beneath her notice. Because
beneath the nose, but trusted. Oh my god.
Because of all people, you have made no effort to come to her notice. Everyone else has something that they ask of her, and want from her. You avoid expressing any wants or desires, and therefore you can be trusted because obviously you don't want to exploit her in any way.
Because she's a walking bejeweled monkey's paw is why, but okay.
And everyone else mistrusts you because they're that you are trying to work your way into her favor by avoiding working your way into her favor.
So I'm the guy who wants for nothing in the court, and so everybody else is like, he's up to something. He's not asking for shit.
That's exactly.
What do you do? I have to know. What do you do?
That's a good question. Like I feel like one of the errant nobles is probably like the best answer. It's like, oh wait. So, I think it was James said earlier that the Queen had overthrown the kingdom to the south.
Yes. Dave had.
And I'm just one of the nobles. Oh, I thought it was. I'm one of the nobles from the south who was just like,
God.
No.
That's great.
This is fine. It was like, this is fine. I like the new regime. Thank you.
Oh, that's outstanding. I have to wonder if she just doesn't bother terrorizing you because you're new, that's just me wondering a lot. That's actually a question. It's terrible. Oh, that's so good. I love it. All right, James. What do you got?
I have my mic muting me. What do you do for the Queen that no one else can?
As opposed to Dave's thing, which is
what I do for the Queen that everyone else can.
Eat food.
With my great magical powers.
Oh, no, that seems like an unsafe position to be in.
Okay, I think we've established it's all unsafe positions, but carry on.
No, I think Mike has a fairly safe position.
Yeah. That's why we're all out to get him.
Safe from the queen, not safe from anybody else. Yeah.
I I can I'm the one that, assists her changing clothes, and I'm the only one that can do that. She doesn't trust
Are you
the other.
are you blind?
That works.
I'm asking just asking the question. I just heard
No,
Kaylee.
yeah.
I just heard Kaylee from the next room over. Oh my God!
Yeah, no, that works.
So you can help you can help the queen change clothes because you're the blind. Have we said what your role is?
Yeah.
Up to this point? What
Person who helped. No, we haven't said
you're the
what.
blind attendant, the blind.
Yeah.
I love it. Love it so much. All right. Hey, Bill.
What is something you do for the royal family that has prepared you well for this journey?
Ooh.
That would be literally spying on or listening in on anybody else who's ever written this statement.
That is so good.
And since part of this journey is not just going to sign a treaty or whatever, but there's an espionage component, we're keeping in mind that somebody has been sending messages to the folk of the north.
So are you good at spying, or are you like legitimately a spy?
He's just well positioned to hear these things.
Very, very cool. I want to ask another question. So does anybody have a question? I'm not going to ask. I keep asking questions. I'm cheating. Nobody has anything. We will go on. I like that. Spy master, stable boy, son of the queen. Okay. All right. Pull a card. Okay. You have a personal connection to the land you are currently traveling through. What makes you want to stay, and why don't you? We're on the very edge of the queendom, the country, at this point, because we're traveling north into the land of the heathens, and we're in that this is an area that has traded hands, where the border has shifted back and forth like the tide line for literally generations, where depending on when I was born, I may have actually been a citizen of the previous of the northern Northlands. And it's very difficult to tell the difference one way or the other around here, culturally speaking, really from one or the other. So I'm looking down on this place that I really haven't been back to since I was in my teens, and the memories that come up there, family farm on the borderlands, barely eking out existence, and that sort of thing. What makes me want to stay is I am sick to death of court life, and almost literally because of the queen being as crazy as she is. But I am just everything that I thought I would have as glory as the captain of the guard and all that sort of thing. It's there, but it's just misery, and I long for that simple life that I railed against when I was younger. And I'm not staying because I can't bear the thought that leaving and going back to this homeland would draw the queen's attention to this place any more than it already has. Right now it's just the border. And if I were to go back now, it would be this place where I'm from, and she would do something to it.
Who's stabbing first? Is it you? Is it you? Is it you? Who wants first go?
Kaylee's taking bets on who's stabbing the queen first when that card comes up. So there's my answer. Do you guys have any other stuff? Follow-ups? If not, Dave. Hello? Oh, we're good.
Sorry, I was muted and I figured out what do I do that pleases the queen on this journey? As the court librarian, I'm actually able to keep up sort of a running monologue about the landmarks that we see below us. Over here, Mount Ziggurat, home of the ancient temple to the four-part god. On your right, the river Zither, known for its eels, which are a great delicacy that has been brought to your court far more times than I would have cared to have them brought to your court. Below us, trackless farmland full of subsistence farmers, the lowest of the low, the poorest of the poor. Oh my God, can you imagine living in such a place? Next.
No comment from the captain of the guard.
Hopefully that pleases the queen. It keeps her entertained on the long, tedious journey.
I imagine she likes to know like all of the like many various facets of her vast country. She's just finding out. It's like finding out that you own even more stuff or something. Anyone have any follow-ups? Who's next? I'm away from the screen. Who's up?
It would be me.
Mike.
It would be Mike.
What brings out the queen's kindness?
Oh God.
So, I'm
What a
gonna
horrible
say
question.
kindness is a relative term here.
Are you the one that's dodged all the little petty?
Yes.
I have.
I feel like
Below notice.
I feel like you can speak to this.
I feel like I can. Without making this like secretly sinister. But I mean, it probably will be anyway. But I'll say that
Puppies. Kittens. Fireplaces. Wait a minute. Getting a bad feeling.
oh man. I'm going to say like now that she's on the ship, like the Aether ship that we're traveling on, I think it's travel. Like she's been less crazy while she's been traveling. Like
being away from court, the proper
Why,
court.
why do you think that's the case?
yeah, I think it's because we're away from court. She doesn't have like 5,000 like little people like trying to, vie for her attention and everything like that. And she's just like, now she can relax. Now she can actually like not order somebody slain every 5 minutes or something like that.
So getting away from all of that has led her to be. It was her decision to leave the court. Did you have anything to do with that? That decision?
What, me? Never. No. Of course not.
You are lying.
Yes. Yes, I am.
J'accuse. You are lying, sir. Ah, that's good.
Because I'll save why for later.
I appreciate whoever is making notes here as to like the characters because I am having a hell of a time
I
tracking.
can't remember.
I am the captain of the guard from
Yep.
low birth.
Yeah.
To summarize that. but-
Continue.
well, I'm going to continue by saying, hey James, it's your turn.
Rude. Heck. Okay.
You do the
One
card, I'll type stuff.
I'm screen and stuff is messing around. Problems. What promise did the queen make to you before this journey? Do you think she'll keep it?
Sleep well. Tomorrow I'll likely kill you.
We say that to our kids way too often.
I say that to my dad. He says it to me. One big happy family.
Nice job, Wesley. Well done. I'll most likely kill you in the morning.
I mean, if they don't get the references, all the better.
It's just poor parenting on my part. Anyway.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
What promise did the queen make you before this journey? Do you think she'll keep it?
Oh goodness.
You're the blind attendant, yes? Yeah. Okay.
Yes. I was, yeah. I was gonna say, words are hard. She promised, that.
I did it already. Oops. She promised that.
God, I can't think. She would get another attendant.
Oh, you'd be.
Or an assistant.
So you're all set to be. Like.
And I think it's more, do I want her to keep it? Keep the promise.
Do you want to? I guess that is the question.
Yeah, do I want her to keep the promise? Because.
Well, do you?
Depends on whether I trust her or not.
I'm sorry, I was busy typing. What was the promise she made?
To let her...
that she would get a second attendant.
Somebody else who can do your job.
A second or a subsequent? Are you being replaced or assisted?
She said second, but it is a very good question.
That could go either way.
Indeed it could. These names here. Oh my god, this is so difficult. Why is this so difficult? There we go. Alright, so in some way, shape, or form, your service here will mean that you're not free, exactly. Did she make this, I have a question, did she make this promise once the trip started or back in the castle? This loops back to Mike's whole, she's gotten nicer.
Well, leading up to the trip, with all the, like, during all of the packing of outfits and stuff, like, oh, once this journey is over and peace is brokered, I'll find a second attendant. Have some extra hands around.
Your neck.
Other
Yeah.
hands around
Oh,
your neck.
extra hand?
I like that. Other hands around your neck. That's
I was
lovely.
thinking I wouldn't put it past her to just have, hands dangling about.
I'm gonna get you an extra
But-
set of hands.
You'll wear them like a necklace.
All right, Bill.
What do you do to disappoint the queen on this journey?
Oh God.
I'm going to say that I came up on deck and or showed my face a little too much by enjoying the trip. Seeing the queen happy and at peace and in content as she's watching this trip made me mistakenly think, oh, I can do that too. Nope, don't do that.
How did she make her displeasure known? I need more. I need the deets.
I think that the moment that she saw me up there, that smile that I was hoping to see more of just kind of went away, and she just looked at me like, "Oh, it's you."
So nothing overt, just well, overt to you, but nothing like,
Yeah.
whip the stable boy. Nothing like that. Just the look.
Yep.
Interesting.
Broke your tiny heart.
Anyone else? All right. In that case, oh God, it's me. It's like, who's next? Who's next? Who's next? It's me. What did you bring with you that endangers the queen?
For some reason, I just think of that one short video. I just want you to be like, a knife!
Kaylee and I were flipping through these cards last night, and it was like, what did you bring with you to protect the queen? A knife. What did you bring with you to endanger the queen? A knife.
I just quoted.
Yeah, she was shouting from the other room. A knife. What did you bring with you to endanger the queen? I haven't decided what I'm doing with this yet. But I have, which should have been destroyed. I was actually asked to destroy it at the time. The royal edict that ordered the assassination of the Northern King's heir. Or not? Yeah, heir? What are you doing? Wait. So, which acclaimed, of course, we claim no knowledge of it. It was actually kind of like offering up the regret and assistance in tracking down the real killers. My God, I'm going to be scarred by the 90s forever. Is kind of what opened up the doors to the diplomacy and so forth, that hypocrisy and stuff. And I actually have the, take this to Master of Spies. Once he's read it, once he's seen it, destroy it. And I didn't. I kept it for whatever reason. Maybe it's because I really do think that when I was born on the northern side of things. Maybe I just am just that sick of all of this or whatever. But I have this thing that is proof positive that, she had the heir to the Northern Throne assassinated. I haven't decided what I'm going to do with it yet. questions? If not,
Where are you keeping it?
I am keeping it right now. I am keeping it in a like a small cask inside of like the foot locker in my quarters on the ship. It's fairly nondescript, but I mean not. It's nice or whatever, but it's just stashed in with the rest of my stuff. Security through obscurity, kind of thing. I don't keep it on me at all times, kind of thing, because it's still got all the seals and everything on it. You can't just walk around with like old brittle wax seals on stuff and expect it to remain intact. So I've got it stored away, got it stashed away. All right, I think it's Dave.
I suspect this journey isn't just about diplomatic negotiations. What else do I believe is going on, and why? And why can't I move this? There we go. I got it. Kind of, maybe. There we go.
You're probably in text mode.
Yeah, I was probably in text mode. I suspect, just from things I've heard by people talking in front of me while I was nibbling on all the Queen's food, that the Queen has actually set her eyes on the king of the Northern Lands, and is not only seeking to establish peace, but to establish peace through marriage.
Which will be all the more interesting for the current queen.
Well, I was gonna say, is this because of the assassination attempt against the heir also killed the queen by accident?
When inept assassins give you lemons, you pucker up.
Oh my god, that's terrible. When inept assassins stab lemons, no. So in any case, there's a bit of a vacuum there, and grand condolences, any assistance that we can offer. Our countries have been at war for far too long. So she's angling for a wedding. Because clearly, that woman's marriage material. I mean, just look at her.
It's all about how she sees relationships working.
I really want this question to be James's question, but never mind. Carry on. It's good for Mike too. But it would be terrible for James, so.
Yes. Unfortunate. What makes the queen beautiful in my eyes? I just don't have a good answer for this one.
You can pass it to somebody.
James.
I was gonna say, James, I'll pass this to you. What makes the queen beautiful in your eyes?
Well, that's a very interesting question. I guess the fact that I can't see her.
So what's the beautiful part then? So what is beautiful about her to you?
She has great singing pipes.
You could use that answer if you want.
No, I was gonna say, her hair is very nice and silky.
Oh, so you're in charge of more than just dressing her. You're really like the full on attendant.
The attendant.
The only trusted attendant.
No, that hair goes to the left. Just that one.
So your perception of her is that she's beautiful based on what you have, at least how you've interacted with her. I'll be honest, I'd be fast. So James still has a question, so I'm gonna have James. James is up. I think, yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
There is a false rumor about you and the queen back at the royal court. What is it? How did it start? Huh.
I don't think he's really blind.
Yeah, I mean,
I
There's
think it
only-
tends to more than just her clothes, if you get my meaning.
thank you, Dad. Thanks for that. I mean, yeah, you're always going to end up with some people making faces when it's the when you are the sole attendant.
How did it start that there was? How did the rumor start that there was something untoward going on there?
I think the rumor started in the kitchen because down there people have too much time to talk while they're just using their hands.
Ordered up,
And it's
ordered
a
up-
hub of everything.
ordered up dinner for two again. We all know the only one who's up there.
Yeah, and people are in and out of there all the time. Just as long as it doesn't get back to the queen, because,
And
that'd be fun.
That's when the whipping started. All right. Bill.
You saw the queen do something terrible to keep the retinue safe. What was it? Did you come to respect her more or less afterward? I mean, if we're talking about the retinue here locally specifically, I think I have less an interesting answer than if we expand it to be, did the queen do something terrible to keep some broader interests safe? But I'll go ahead and answer this anyway and see what we do. There was an assassination order against the northern heir, correct?
Yes.
Yep.
So the stable boy, the illegitimate son, is being staked as a hostage to keep us safe from retribution for that outcome.
Staked as a hostage.
In other words, he's going to be left there.
Oh,
in
so
their
you're.
care.
So, all right. I feel
And
as
that's
though,
what I'm doing on this trip.
I mean, I feel as though this question kind of answered itself, but I want to know the answer. Did you come to respect her more or less afterward?
Well, to finish that off, then I'm going to say respect more, because this is one of those moments where she's not just acting capricious and random, and she was actually forced into a situation where she had to respect somebody else's ways and beliefs, and had to acknowledge someone else as kind of an equal. So the fact that she could do that gave me hope.
For something at some point. Yikes. You're the I mean, scapegoat's not the right word, but yeah. Okay. I'm gonna draw a thing here.
I feel like the answer to this one's going to involve scars.
I'm pondering as I drink the last of my soda. It doesn't actually. Yeah. Okay. So after the whipping, where I was carted off unconscious from the pole or wherever strapped over the cannon type thing, and you know surgeons were ordered just to see to the bare minimum kind of thing. You're left to lay on your stomach in the dark in your quarters. She came to my quarters after that. I don't know it was her, but I know it was her because it was dark. I was barely sensible, but I know it was her. And she came to the quarters, came into the room, looked down at me for a great length of time, and then traced each one of the welts with her fingertip. Never said anything. No acknowledgement of it. Never say anything about it later. I just know it was her. And I don't know. In my mind, I can claim that I have no idea why. But in my heart of hearts, my thought is that she's laying claim to those marks, those parts of me where I'm got those scars. She's like, that's her claimed territory. Counting coup, something like that.
Marking your territory.
Marking, yeah, I guess. And the thing is, it's not that she's got all of it, but she's got where the welts were at. Part of my thought is that at some point in time she's going to try and claim more territory, and I'm not sure I'll survive that. Questions? Follow up? If not, it's Dave.
I'm taking notes for all these, by the way. whether or not anybody else is.
I'm recording stuff. This is going.
Okay.
But off we go.
I arranged for the queen to be ambushed on this journey.
Dave!
What did they offer me?
You arranged for the queen to be ambushed on this journey. The court librarian and food tester reveals that his true colors.
You could poison her pretty easily.
I spent the last 4 years building up a resistance to iocane powder.
Iocane powder, yes. Well, I was able. The ambush itself was going to be based on the ether ship being in a particular location at a given time, and so the intent was/is, since there's kind of
well, there's no indication this actually happened.
There's no indication whether it's actually happened or not. The plan was that I would, if we actually go a little bit, to the northeast, there is a remarkable trio of lakes that resemble
linked by waterfalls
linked by waterfalls that resemble the constellation that looked over your birth.
What did they offer you?
They offered me a position as the court librarian in the Great Kingdom to the east.
So this is a whole different.
Well, it was arranged. It was arranged by.
I was gonna say. I was gonna ask if it was the Southern Kingdom still like working.
No, I think it's. My thought was it's still the Northern Kingdom. Which doesn't bode well for the marriage plans, but it's still the Northern Kingdom. But they've been actually being been kind of gathering up allies, and sort of the great decadent court to the east, which is an ancient civilization, and oh my god, they know how to respect a librarian, let me tell you. I was offered a very important position there, once all was said and done.
Lovely. Questions?
I mean, I think we need to know whether it succeeded or not.
Well, I mean, we know the queen's going to be attacked real soon because we've got a card coming to tell us the queen's going to attack. That could be
Okay.
that. That could be this.
Okay.
You just know that you arranged for the queen to be ambushed. And we know what you're going to get for it. Traitor. I love it.
All right.
Mike.
Yep.
Ooh. Oh, I know what
Steve?
this. I know what this answer is. I know what I would say, but that's me. I'll shut up.
I was gonna say, you would know what you would say for your character.
No, I know what I would say for your character.
Oh, then by all means.
Well, you're the loyal South guy, right? I mean, you're the guy you like this new rulership. I think you. I mean, what if? Let me phrase this as a question. Did you save her from an assassination attempt from your former countrymen?
My fellow countrymen.
Yeah, your fellow countrymen.
Saved is such a
A word that they
a
might
leap.
use.
Yeah, a word someone might use, but it was more of just like, I was the marquis. I lorded over the border between our two lands, and so it was more of like, they were going to get cut off. All I had to do was close the gates, and I did eventually to stop pursuit.
So how did you save the queen's life?
So they were being, the Queen's forces were being routed out of our country. It was my job to close the gate to keep, the gate to keep her from escaping. And I did, but just a little too late, so that she and, some of her forces could escape.
The one time that would have been the definitive. And of course, the next day is the day that they turned it all around. And
Yes.
So you were a commander of some kind. At some level, you were a not a commander, but someone who was given charge of like key parts of a plan, kind of a thing.
Yes.
Interesting. Anybody have anything else? For Mike.
And I feel like that's why I'm here, is like, nobody in the South trusts me anymore.
I mean, sounds right. All right, James, you're up. What do we got?
Yee. What do we have?
Queen lights a fire in you.
In you.
What is it? Magnesium.
Yeah, I read on you, and that was very.
Oh, in metaphorical, right? Metaphorical.
Oh,
Oh no, there was that one time she fed me these magical peppers. Yeah, no.
Queen lights a fire in you. What is it?
Goodness. She insists on wearing these bits of jewelry with impossible clasps. Like, the really, really tiny ones that are
Yeah.
so obnoxious. she insists that all of her jewelry have those little clasps.
So the fire that she ignites in you is one of rage and frustration, is what I'm hearing.
Yes.
It's not an inspirational fire. It's a, oh my God, you petty tyrant.
Yeah.
Why would you do this?
She lights the fires of hate.
Of hate. I like how right now the only person who really kind of likes the queen is the person who's not from the country.
It's
He hasn't had to put up with this.
I love that. James, blind attendant,
small-
hates small clasps.
Yeah.
It's pretty good.
It's a Perry Mason mystery, right? The entire first act is the guy who's going to die and all the people who have really good reasons to hate him.
Yeah.
And then he shows up dead, and the most innocent, kind person who could be accused of the murder is the one who's accused.
Which is why, obviously, you have to have Angela Lansbury in for something like this, really.
That's true. Angela Lansbury would play that role as Jessica Fletcher. I was saying Perry Mason, but yeah, Jessica Fletcher.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Except in this case, is actually the murder victim. All right. Bill, you're up. Oh.
No, I got this. The queen is responsible for the death of someone you loved. Who and what happened?
Man, it's like Bill's just ready for these cards, man.
Well,
Give it to me.
So that would be the stable boy's biological father,
Oh, okay.
and she got tired of him.
Just so you said illegitimate. So was he like the consort? So it was illegitimate in the sense that there was no marriage, but it was an acknowledged relationship, or
It was more like she. The queen that I'm hearing from folks so far is that she has a great appetite for life and doesn't mind eating off of other people's plates. And so has probably dallied with people who caught her interest, including
sure,
scholars, great warriors, just anybody sort of notable. I feel like she kind of wants to experience them, but she gets tired of her toys really fast too.
some of them can leave, and some of them, in this case, had to be put out of her misery.
Well, yeah, because they start doing unfortunate things like being willing to talk about their time, or showing pride, or trying to treat her like an equal, and that's not going to happen. So,
What was he? You talk about here, like all these sort of notable individuals.
I'm going to say this particular character, the stable boy's father, was probably some sort of skilled fighter, like a frontier fighter, somebody who had gone out to these other kingdoms. Not necessarily like a general of the armies, maybe an independent hero, or like a notable mercenary or something like that. Somebody who turned the tide of a particular battle.
But like a Davy Crockett,
Yeah.
kind of a thing.
And then he got sent back to court, and then it's like, yeah, please tell us your story. And he tells the story, and the queen's like,
Yeah.
A man.
Oh God. Oh Lord. But yeah, I like that because he, certainly a notable individual, but really not suited to that life. Did he want to leave before she was ready to let him go, or was it the boredom thing?
Or was he bragging about the relationship?
I think we'll find out.
We may indeed. Let's find out. Let's find out what's next anyway. Link. We're probably not going to find out immediately. Okay, so this is the story ender. We go around and everybody answers the question. The queen is under attack. Do you defend her? Kaylee's like, no, you don't. Okay, I am going for the sake of my answer, I am going to go with the fact that the ambush was set up, and God, this is a complicated guy because he had the proof that he was going to potentially take to the king and say, this is what happened. You know, she's in your court. You have the right to vengeance. Here it is, and here's the proof of it. And that's one thing. But then there is just random ambushers dropping in from these cheap little airships that are clearly meant to assassinate. Damn it, that's my job. Like, I'm supposed to bringing justice to her is outside of one way or the other, but this is like, okay, people are attacking. So yes, when the assault begins, he hesitates, but only barely hesitates, and then it's flintlocks and cutlass and calling guards to arms and rushing to the deck of the ship to defend the ship, repel boarders and that sort of thing. So that's me. Who's Dave? You're up. Can I share poetically that I love that this is going to end up ending with Bill?
It's there's so many times this could have happened when it would have been very straightforward and it would have been exactly what was arranged and exactly what he wanted, and he was actually there. He had been there right on the rail, kind of watching the lakes appear down below, and they're lovely, and all would be perfect. And then she decided that she wanted a snack, and he's holding the tray, bringing it over to her, realizing that he's going to have to take a bite of it first, and that's when the attack happens. And she looks at him, and he hesitates a moment, and then he holds up the tray in front of her like a shield, dumping the little sandwiches onto the deck. So he defends her by like trying to shield her with this food tray that he had been holding, because she's looking at him and he can't do anything else at that point.
Is it effective? I mean, does it work as a shield? Do you work as a shield?
I can see it taking at least one shot. And after that, it might not. He might end up being more of a human shield than a shield with a silver tray in front of him.
You say it was her look.
But,
was it because of being afraid of her, or being like, damn it, it's still the queen?
More being unwilling to betray her to her face. In other words, yes, he could have like fled below decks and left her to her fate, but that would have meant actually doing that in front of her. And it's not even a matter of thinking about what the consequences would be. It's just not something that he could do. It's way too overt of a betrayal. So he ends up protecting her, ironically.
Cool. Mike?
So, when the boarders come on, and, there's swords flying all about, our southern lord here is just like, sword out, ready, locks swords with one of the assassins here. It's just like, I'm told I'm weak on my left side here. If you just, like, nudge me, like, take one punch and just, like, you've got, like, this nice little straightaway over to the queen here.
So that's a no then.
No. It is playing every side.
Oh my god. Okay. That's fantastic. James.
What could I do? I'm just a blind attendant. What direction are they coming from?
Are you cowering? Are you just standing there?
For some reason, I just see you just standing below Hold, like in her, in her bedroom, while you're hearing all this going on. It's like, oh drat.
Yeah, yeah.
Or standing beside her saying, my queen, are you safe? Are any of these foul assassins approaching our position?
Oh, my queen, where are you? You're over here, aren't you?
You're right over here, near the parapet. Lovely.
Are you still wearing that vivid pink dress that I put upon you this morning?
My God. Okay, are you doing that? Or are you like below decks? While I love that, before we hand off to Bill, I want to know how bad that is, or whether that's what's happening.
I think that yeah, I mean, I think it'd be more of the on deck, there in case she were to call.
Well, yeah,
need any assistant
because
attending.
because she was out like to look at the sightseeing. Come up to me. We're going sightseeing. Come up with me. And
oh, sightseeing! How exciting! Thank you, my queen.
The literal worst.
Oh, just listen to the librarian. He natters on and on. It's very vivid.
Bill?
Did we establish for sure who sent the assassins or from where they are from? I heard a couple things earlier, but
I think the Northern Kingdom is sending the assassins. There was a deal made to sort of, as payment, shunt Dave over to the kingdom that is in alliance with the Northern Kingdom that treats librarians like royalty.
The ancient empire of the East, yes.
Yes.
okay.
They may have provided support in the effort, but
Right, but maybe
it's mainly the Northerners.
maybe funding mercenaries or something of that nature. But
Okay, so I'm not going to defend the queen because the assassins are here for two reasons. First, to rescue the son of their captain who got killed by the queen, and secondly, to avenge him upon the queen.
So this is like, going to the Davy Crockett thing. It's like the heroes of some border conflict that idolize that guy, and then she had him killed, and this is terrible.
They've been waiting for that moment.
So he got killed, to answer the earlier question, because he did not want the captain of the guard position. He felt that position was being adequately filled, and he didn't want to become just some lapdog. He liked his independence,
Right.
And you can't have independence with this queen.
This thing in my head of all the heroes that were at the Alamo, if they had survived the Alamo because of his bravery, and he went back to court, and all this happened, and then this, those guys, like that kind of group of people, finally getting their vengeance.
The other 46 Ronin.
Yeah, the other 46 Ronin coming. It's like, yeah, we'll take the job, sure. We'll act as mercenaries, but we do this. We would honestly do this one for free. Let's be honest.
But we're not turning down what you're going to pay us.
Like if you ask anybody else, hey, how'd you like to kill the queen? They'd be like, you can't offer us enough. This group said yes. That's
we'll pay you. Okay. Bonus.
Yeah, like if you insist, we'll take it. But...
So your stable hand spy knows these people, or knows that they're coming, or recognizes them?
They will reveal some signet ring or some other symbol that he would recognize as being associated with his dad. They would have some way of identifying themselves.
Or the battle cry or something like that. That's so good.
Do you stand aside, or do you join in?
I think that he's probably going to be hustled off before that decision gets to be made. this is probably not a very old character. So when there's fighting, there's going to be confusion. Like even our blind attendant is going to be more useful than this guy.
Nice. And we didn't. I mean, the retinue is pretty meager. They've said this, so yeah, I'd say we say 46 Ronin, but this group is designed to do this without some sort of a unified front. And the southern guy going, if you get around me on the left, I'm sure I'd go down with a relatively easy slash kind of thing. The captain's sort of honor guard. Yeah, this isn't going to go good for Angela. And that, folks, is for the Queen.
And I have a quick epilogue if you like.
Sure, hit it.
So our stable boy and any interested parties get spirited away by these guys. Anybody who didn't already get a good deal might get some offers of position or at least travel elsewhere. Because really, who among you would willingly serve this lady? And some hands might go up, and those hands get chopped off. But that's fine. But learning not to trust royalty or empire or any sort of authority like that, and just trusting the people around you. This is how this young boy became the Pirate King Uriah Flint.
The Pirate King what?
Uriah Flint.
Nice. Oh, back to Lady Blackbird. Love it. I love it. So we go back to the Lady Blackbird feed in. The game that we never finished. It's terrible. God, years back too. I love it. I would say that the captain of the guard probably died before the offer could be made. It was one of those situations where he was too dangerous to pull punches kind of situation. He's good at the job. They don't, probably even knew some of these people, at least if not by reputation, or if not just by reputation, and possibly even face to face. But the fact of the matter is, doing the job, can't pull half punches or he'll kill me, and I'm not good enough to, he's not bad enough for me to take him out. So he probably dies during all the hijinks. What about the shield maiden with the dinner tray? Or shield?
The librarian goes down probably in the first wave, wondering what the hell he's doing, but realizing that it's only fitting that he ends in this fashion, as first the platter, then his body is shredded by the attacker's shots.
Mike? Nobly wounded in the defense of the Queen. Never seen again.
Nobly wounded in the defense of the Queen, and I feel like when offers are made, it's just like, so there's the Southern Kingdom. You may have heard of it.
Oh my God, he's playing Armin in some alternate reality.
Yeah.
I love it.
That wasn't where it started, but that's definitely where it ended up.
James?
Oh.
Did the blind attendant survive the onslaught by these honorable Ronin?
I think they may have been a unfortunate casualty. All of their yelling either caused the Queen to take action, or a enthusiastic Ronin jumped the gun.
I feel like the Queen, like as a last ditch effort, like grabbed the attendant and shoved the attendant, like in the direction of an attacker, as like a last minute meat shield kind of thing.
Alas, poor Horatio. I knew him well.
Yep, he was good with a hair clip. And that now brings us. I love that we brought it back around to Uriah Flint. That's good stuff. All right, guys, thanks. That was an awesome little. We had a little quick pickup or something like that since we didn't get the whole night, but I'm glad we got to do something. I really wanted to try this out. Seemed like a pretty cool little thing. I hope that fun was had. I certainly had fun. So
Yeah, totally.
yeah.
Fun. Yes, it was fun.
I have so this is a thing you can buy this thing on Roll20 and it comes with all the cards already loaded in, the backdrop and everything like that, so you don't really have to do anything with it. But there's also a like you can pre-order the actual card, the deck to like have as a physical artifact for doing actual tabletop and stuff like that. And I've done that as well because I feel like I want to bring that to a game day or something like that and just throw it down and see what happens, because you can have a lot of fun with this kind of craziness. I couldn't help but see that Dark Queen, Dave, that you had kind of picked out. Like my very first thought as soon as I saw that was like, oh, I want to do that one with basically the Black Company.
The Black Company.
Yeah, I mean, how do you not? I mean, how do you not? Who are the attendants? Oh, I'm the mercenary physician, the captain, the archivist.
She's terrible, but she's lovely.
The mortician, the company mortician, stuff like that, all that kind of craziness. So
she's awful, but we love her.
Yeah, goddess with terrible power. I was just listening.
Of course, we defend her.
Yeah, I was listening to one of the actual play that they've done. They've done quite a couple, and one of them was like, I hadn't listened through the whole thing, but they're on like it's almost like Snow Crasher or something. They're on like this long distance steam locomotive. So it's like Murder on the Orient Express as like a For the Queen thing. One of the other ones that Kaylee really socketed into was they did there's no recording of it, but it was the queen is the prom queen and you're all traveling in the limo with her and none of you know which one is officially actually her date. So yeah, the trip is to prom or something like that. So it's like for the prom queen.
For bonus points, can it be Carrie?
Oh, that'd be so good. Yes. So yeah, a lot of fun little reskins and stuff like that. So just kind of a fun little game. Anyway, we did go a little bit long, but certainly not any later than we have at some point in time. So guys, thanks very much. Thanks for having a little game.
How much XP do we get?
All of it. You get all the XP. You get absolutely all the XP.